I don't know about you, but if I was SH by somebody, if I dealt with any kind of misconduct by somebody enough for me to file a lawsuit, I'm pretty sure I would remember when it happened, what I was wearing when it happened, the day, what the weather was like, if it smelled like burnt toast that day, if it smelled like lemons that day. Not 100, 1,000, a million, a billion terabytes of video footage, over 50,000 hours of video footage would get in my way of that, but not Blake Lively. Leave it up to Blake and her team to call it an obstruction rather than cooperation or whatever the word they used. Let's get into it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of F Around and Find Out. I'm your host, Elsie. We have news. I can at least confirm to you today, those of you who needed confirmation because you didn't believe me and was like, a real lawyer told me you can't tell she went to the deposition or not, even though I told you she didn't go. Now we for sure have confirmation from her own lawyers. She didn't show up to the deposition and it was scheduled for sometime in July, like I told you. This was kind of a joint letter to the judge. We're going to read the letter. We're going to pause at certain, catching parts to talk about it. But there's one of my favorite parts of this is Blake's team trying to act like Justin Baldoni's team is trying to pull one over on them by giving them a lot of footage for them to go through. And I find that hilarious, like I said in my intro, but we're going to talk about it further here. So the intro pretty much, Dear Judge Lyman, we're writing to you, Your Honor, individual practice, blah, blah, blah. Jonesworks and Blake Lively have teamed up together trying to pretty much ask for an extension, okay? Then we're going to jump to the bottom. And they promised the scheduling will not delay the trial set in March, right? So the background. On June 25th, counsel for Ms. Lively proposed to counsel for the Wayfair parties, which they were like, get out of here anyway, the Wallace parties and Jonesworks, that the parties seek to extend the close of fact discovery by a whole month, complete document production by July 15th, and enter into a shared briefing scheduled in connection with discovery. On June 27th, the Wallace parties and Jonesworks agreed to the proposal, leaving the Wayfair parties as the only parties who did not agree. And they don't have to. It's literally their prerogative to not agree. They don't have to. Go talk to the judge about it. On June 26th, counsel for the Wayfair parties indicated that they would produce 100 terabytes of film footage amounting to roughly 50,000 hours of viewing time to the parties. I love a petty king, Brian Freeman. I love a petty king. On June 27th, the parties, except for counsel for the Jones parties, convened telephonically to discuss the position scheduling, wherein counsel for the Wayfair parties claimed to have limited dates available for their clients. They're not in town. They're not going to be in town for July, so move it along. Clearly explaining why their clients would supposedly be unavailable. They don't have to tell you that. If your client couldn't show up to her deposition, our clients are not available. On June 30th, the Wayfair parties confirmed in writing that they could only offer one or two specific dates for each. I love it. For each individual client before August 14th. On June 30th, the Wayfair parties began to produce the film footage, which Ms. Lively had been requesting be produced for weeks. Okay, the Wayfair parties have also been requesting that Ms. Lively produce a bunch of stuff since February. So I hate this. Like, I hate the complaining. It's like, get over it. You're grown. Oh my Lord. On the evening of July 1st, the Lively, Jones, and Wayfair parties made production in connection with a case plan deadline for substantial completion. The Wayfair parties production produced just before midnight. And it appeared deficient. First of all, I can see Brian Freeman had like an associate, or maybe him himself, I don't know, but probably an associate, sent by the computer. It's like, your only job, you do not hit send until, you don't want any glitches or anything like that, right? So you don't set it at 11:59 per se, but you maybe you let them hit send like 11:55, 56. So in case there's a glitch, they have like a minute or two to fix it, so it's not delayed and they don't go whine to the judge, even though they still are. You make sure you send that shit just before midnight. And apparently it appeared deficient. Get out of my face. For example, in the Lively vs. Wayfair studio case, Miss Abel produced only 229 documents. Well, why? You already got what you needed from Van Zandt anyway, so you don't need anything from Miss Abel. and Miss Nathan and Tag each produced the exact same 81 documents. Miss Nathan is tagged. What do you? Let me just read the document, because if I give commentary on every sentence, we would never be done. And in the Jones versus Abel case, Miss Abel produced 119 documents, Mr. Baldoni produced 98 documents, and Miss Nathan produced 114 documents. Oh, so freaking whiny. Get over it. Oh, more importantly, Miss Abel, Miss Nathan, and Tag failed to produce reams of responsive communications. I don't know why this is so funny to me, by the way. I have like a permanent smirk on my face. I look like a cartoon. That they are known to possess. They failed to produce responsive communications that they're known to possess, including many texts produced in response to the Van Zandt subpoena. Wait a goddamn minute. Did they just pretty much snitch on themselves by saying, oh, there are some things we saw with the Van Zandt subpoena that they didn't give us, and we know they didn't give it to us because we saw it with the Van Zandt subpoena? Oh my God, you doofus. Okay, so then what do you want me to give it to you for? I thought you said you don't need to adhere to my motion that I send the judge because I already have what I want, right? So now if you're saying you've already seen these text messages and responses through the Van Zandt subpoena, why do you want me to give it to you again? You see how it's not clocking to you? What did Justin Bieber say? It's not clocking to you. It's not clocking to y'all. Oh my God, I hate it. Further, Mr. Sorowitz appears to have produced only 3 pages. Mr. Sorowitz appeared to have produced only 3 pages of documents in total. While Wayfarer, it ends with us, he and Baldoni collectively produced at least 170,000. 170,000 pages of document in the lively action. Why is this so funny to me? I feel like this is such a petty thing to do if you're Brian Friedman. Steve Sorowitz had 3 documents. 3. Oh my God. On July 2nd, the Wayfarer parties confirmed substantial completion and that not all, for Jones Works, any film footage had been delivered. In addition, counsel for the Wayfarer parties neglected to send relevant productions to the Jones parties. You know what? In a timely fashion, including the aforementioned film footage. It got there before midnight. Shut up. None of which have the Jones parties received, and the Jones parties have not been involved in discussions regarding coordinating and scheduling of depositions. As a result, while the Jones parties are willing to confer on a mutually acceptable schedule and deposition protocol, they have not yet agreed to or been involved in any deposition scheduling or protocol. On July 3rd, when they wrote this letter, in light of the volume of the parties' discovery, potential deficiencies in satisfaction of substantial completion deadline, and the fact that not all parties had received production by the deadline, Ms. Lively proposed further modifications to the case plan as follows. Of course. And you know what, though? Had they turned in the footage to you on time, ahead of time, whatever, Ms. Lively was always going to ask for more. Because she's Oliver Twist. She's never satisfied. Please, sir, can I have more? Judge Lyman, can I have more, please? Can I have an extension? Can I have this? Can I have that? And we know Judge granted Lyman. He's going to grant it. Oh, my Lord. Ms. Lively wants these 3 things. Extend the close of fact discovery from August 14th to September 30th. Completion of party document production for issued RFPs by July 25th. Enter a shared briefing schedule on parties' motions to compel in connection with the party document discovery opening on August 1st and response on August 8th. Judge Lyman, granted. Granted in part, denied in part. Most parties agreed to the proposal. The Wallace and Wayfarer parties did not reply with any position as to the proposal as of the time of filing. Again, whenever they do this and they're like, we all conferred and the Jones parties agreed, it's so annoying. The Jones party is literally in your pocket. You colluded with them. The Jones party is going to do whatever the heck you want. Good causes exist. Good cause exists for amending the case plan to the proposal dates Despite the parties' progress in fact discovery, the case plan as initially ordered on February 3rd, 2025 is no longer workable. With respect to document production, Ms. Lively and Jones parties have serious questions as to which of the Wayfair parties have satisfied their production obligations, as several have produced apparently far less than substantial completion requests. I feel like they're about to talk about Steve Sarwit's 3 pages again. Notably, Sarwit, I swear to God, I did not look there. I swear to God. Notably, Sarwitz appears to produce 3 pages. You said that already. You said that already. You said that on the first page. Steve Sarwitz gave us 3 pages. We already talked about that. Miss Nathan and Tag. Oh my God, the redundancy. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it again. You already said that. Miss Nathan and Tag gave you less than 300 documents. You already said that. Miss Lively has produced 4,900 and over 21,000 pages as a single individual, and Jones parties have produced 12,000, blah, 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 and over 37,000 pages. Steve Servants don't have shit to do with shit, except for you guys trying to say he has something to do with something. So if he has 3 pages, that's all he has. Move it along. Aside from substantial completion, the aforementioned 170,000 pages and footage, which would take days to access and process into a reviewable format and a number of weeks to review, also stands as a substantial barrier and potentially an obstructive data dump. Exactly, that's what they said, which I find issue with. You know why I think this is very stupid to say? Again, like I said in my intro, my name is Elsie. Nice to meet you. I claim I was SH on the set of It Ends With Us. I don't care if It Ends With Us gives you 2 million terabytes of footage. I can already tell you which parts of the footage to throw away, which parts to ignore, which dates are important, which month is important. So it's not as confusing as you're trying to make it be. Like, I'm sure there's part of the public that's going to be like, oh my God, 100 terabytes of footage. That's so much. 50,000 viewing hours. That's why you have associates, okay? That's why you have grunt workers in your firm. Let them freaking watch it for all I care. But my point is, and continues to be, if you're Blake Lively and you claim you went through this, 100, 1,000, a million, 10 million terabytes of footage shouldn't mean shit to you. You should already know what to be looking for. You should already know when to send your lawyers to go fetch. But because you would lie and you would cheat and you were so nasty and so rude, you're looking for you were hoping they would give you the footage, and now it's going to be like a few clips and then you're going to watch and find something. But if there is something there to find, you should already know where to look. And I don't want to hear shit about everybody processes trauma differently. Baby, she doesn't remember. Exactly. My face should have told you everything. Data dump. To conducting depositions with meaningful time to scrutinize the substance and adequacy of the production in advance. The depositions to, who wrote that? The depositions to are a crucial element of the party's discovery schedule that will be given short shrift if not allowed proper time to take place after resolution and review of document productions and dispute. Ms. Lively and the Wayfair party stipulated to 20 depositions per side. There are serious outstanding questions as to how the depositions will operate vis-a-vis Jones parties versus Jones versus Abel, whether as independent or extended depositions. Further, under the current plan and based on current witness availability, completing a minimum of 40 depositions will require several sequential weeks of multiple depositions each business day across at least California, New York, Texas, and Illinois. Exacerbating the issue, counsel for the Wayfair parties have provided negligible availability. Negligible is crazy. Apparently intending to choose their preferred order of deponents. First of all, Blake Lively didn't even want Brian Freeman to depose her. She legitimately wrote a request to the judge and said, I don't want Brian Freeman to depose me. But now you get an issue as to the order in which people from the Wayfair parties are getting deposed. Get the entire fuck out of my face. Respectfully. Actually, no, disrespectfully, fuck off. For example, asserting that Miss Nathan and Miss Abel are unavailable all of July, and they are, what about it? Check that. And that Mr. Baldoni is only available 2 days and only after Mr. Heath. And what about it? What about it? Given that the bulk of the third deponents have not confirmed availability over the summer, an August 14 close of fact discovery is unfortunately impractical. Not my business. Good cause further exists because amending the case plan would contribute to the just. Before I continue, let's not act like Blake did not push her depositions because she wanted to see discovery first, okay? Don't think y'all are slick with that shit. Don't act like you didn't let her move depositions because you knew if we just wait for discovery to come in, we can see the footage and stuff. We can see how to lie because you don't want to set yourself up, which we knew that, right? But they're not going to say that legally. But me and you know that. And if you didn't know that, I'm telling you now, okay? We're going to take a water break because after all, I'm just a girl, okay? Cheers. Drink your water too. Good cause further exists because amending the case plan would contribute to the just, speedy, trying to sweet talk the judge, just, speedy, and inexpensive determination. We passed that now. By permitting discovery to unfold in an orderly fashion and avoiding a situation in which the parties are required to take depositions without full review of produced documents. Exactement. Exactly. Exactement. What did he just say right there? Without full review of produced documents or to retake depositions to account for critical evidence produced after the fact. In other words, we wanted our client to see what you had so we know one lie to prepare her to tell. Play with somebody else, not me. I ain't got the time. As the primary parties who are bringing affirmative claims in the actions, Ms. Lively and the Jones parties will be prejudiced by attempting to take depositions to establish claims without complete documentary evidence. What I tell you. Conversely, the fact that the proposal will not shift dates after completion of the fact further ensures the cases are justly and swiftly resolved. So we're going to look at the letter of support that Kristen Bender, Blake Lively's lawyer, sent the judge. And I want to show you guys a part where technically you can see, because a lot of you kept trying to, how did you know deposition was supposed to take place? I'll show you. We're just going to type in June 23rd, my loves, and we're going to get one June 23rd pop-up, and that's going to be right here, an email, right? You're going to see Kristen sends this email. The way for a party's position is that the party should comply with the case management plan and schedule an order as it was before they sent all this bullshit. We are preparing to depose Blake Lively on July 17th on a date to which you agreed after requesting an adjournment of her deposition originally scheduled for June 23rd, because her people were definitely waiting to see discovery so she could look through that shit so she knows what lies to tell. She ain't fooling me, okay? Not me, homie. So that's going to be all on the law, deposition, everything front discovery. But before we go, I made this video on everybody on TikTok and Instagram saw it, but I know not everybody on this platform is there as well. But I wanted to share this with you guys. A couple of days ago, I had started watching the show because I was cleaning the house and I just really needed something to, because my brain cannot just be idle. Something has to be happening all the time. So I threw this on, and a little bit into the episode, Hilary Duff says this. I'm going to play for you guys. Say you're watching the video and this cuts out or there's no audio. That's probably because Netflix shut it down for copyright. So I'm going to also say what Hilary Duff says, but this is hoping they don't shut it down. So I'm going to play it really quickly and then I'm going to repeat it afterwards so you get a chance to hear it for yourself.
Natural elasticity, and she just wants to destroy us. Well, thanks for the warning. No problem. It's called paying it forward. As Taylor Swift said, there is a special place in hell for women who don't help other women.
So this is it. It's from the Huffington Post in 2013, March of 2013 to be exact. Taylor Swift, I guess, had attended the Golden Globes where Amy Poehler and what's her friend Tina Fey did a joke. Apparently they were talking about Taylor Swift with a breakup or something about a man. I didn't have the time to dig that far. One Direction star Harry Styles. Taylor and Harry used to date. And Mean Girls in general by recalling a favorite Madeleine Albright quote told to her by Katie Couric. Okay, so she goes on to say, Katie Couric is one of my favorite people. Taylor Swift told Vanity Fair, contributing editor Nancy Jo Sales, I hope it's not Salas, because she said to me she heard a quote that she loved that said, there's a special place in hell for women who don't help other women. That's the long and short of the quote. I bring this up to say, if you're Blake Lively and Taylor is your godmother to your kids and whatever, your best friends, and we know Blake has helped Sophia Turner with her breakup, Selena Gomez with her whatever Kesha with her case. She's helped women. She has the track record of that at the very least, right? And whether you want to say she does it for PR, she does whatever, she does it, period. And somehow this time she has completely washed her hands of the entire situation. Not only is she not helping you, as in like, outwardly supporting you, she's also not helping you by being completely silenced. And this is not a case where silence is helping. Silence is absolutely not helping, because everybody wants to know why your friend Taylor is not supporting you, why your friend Taylor seems to be helping the other side as to be given, information allegedly. But I just felt it was very bizarre that I put on the show for no reason, out of the blue. And I hear this quote in the background, and immediately I literally did a double back from the bathroom. And I was like, wait, what did she say? Took that back, then did the research, then found the quote. So I thought you guys will get a kick out of that. But I just want to say I appreciate you all for being here. Please make sure to subscribe while you're here if you haven't already. Even if you have, please double check, because I keep getting messages from people who have subscribed and somehow are finding out they're unsubscribed, or they can't find your comments, or the comments are getting deleted. I promise it's not me. I don't delete any comments. I leave everything as it is, unless it's like bigotry. One time I think I deleted a comment and the person was being completely nasty, so rude. But please make sure to like the video, leave a comment, double check to make sure your comment is actually left. And I try to respond to as many as I can, but it's a lot of work sometimes. But thanks again for being here. Have a good day, and let me know what you think about everything that I said in this video. I know it was a mouthful, and I'll see you in the next one.